Hello.
It's Lee Richey. And many years ago, I befriended a young girl who was trying to get her music played on the radio. Her name was Taylor, and I played her first record on the radio, got to know her, and we've been friends ever since. And she did okay. Ever since then, I've been keeping my eyes out for the next Taylor. And who knows, maybe I found her. Today, I'm going to introduce you to another Taylor. This one close to home. She's from Corning, New York. Today, we're going to be talking to Taylor Hurd. Taylor Hurd is my guest. Hello, Taylor.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It is great to talk to you and to thank you for joining us here to talk about growing up in Corning and your music career.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
So you're going to Berkeley, and the single that we're going to talk about right now is called Virginia. And we'll play folks a little bit of that in just a bit. But let's talk about Corning and growing up from Corning to Boston and your music career. How did you get there?
Yeah, so I am born and raised in Corning my whole life. My parents were both not from Corning, ended up in Corning as teachers, met teaching at East High School in Corning. Mm-hmm. If anyone went there knows East. And not too long after I came along. I loved growing up in Corning. I think when I was little, I kind of saw it as this very I want to get out there and see the world, because Corning's a small town. But as I've gotten older, I've become so much more appreciative of growing up in this area.
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful and the people are so lovely. I'm really glad that I've branched off to Boston, but it's made me a lot more grateful for having Corning and growing up here. And I got my associates at Corning Community College here, so I stuck around even a little longer than most before I transferred to Berkeley and Boston. I had actually been studying fine arts at CCC. I didn't think I was going to go for music. I was getting shy about it, scared to take the leap. But I found myself, as I was up there, doing all these performance arts and literally staring at my ceiling at night, just like, what am I doing? Why am I not doing this thing that I love most in life? So I applied to Berkeley. It was the only school I applied to, and just kind of took a gamble on myself, and I got in.
And you don't just go to Berkeley, though. Did you have to audition and do stuff like that? Yeah. What was the audition like?
It's a crazy process. So I chose to drive to Boston since we're close enough, and I wanted to do it in person. They do have an online option, but I just didn't feel like what I wanted to do. So you get there, and
it's more memorable if you go in person, and then they feel like, well, she spent money for gas. Let's admit her,
Exactly. I'm just trying to make them sympathize with me.
Yeah.
But they put you in this waiting room that you sit in forever, and then they throw you into this room with a judge. And there's a bunch of components you have to do. There's a sight reading component, an improvisation component, and prepared pieces. And then within that sight reading, you have to do actual classic sight reading, read the notes off the page.
Okay.
As well as there's a rhythm portion where the person there claps rhythms at you and you have to relay it back to them.
Wow.
On the spot, as quickly as you can.
Were you prepared for that? I mean, did you know that was going to happen?
I knew it was going to happen. They have a lot of stuff on their website for practice, but it's still, it's never exactly how it is in person.
Right. Right.
You can practice as much as you want, but it exists to show if you're really capable of it, because it's something that you actually have to be good at doing. There has to be a vocal or a musical literacy to you to be successful at that.
So the reason that you kind of caught my ear, because I'm getting a lot of people every day sending me music, and you didn't send me the music. I happened to see something pop up somewhere, and I heard your voice, which I love your voice. I could listen to it all night long. But the song was Virginia. And I'm not a real lyric kind of guy, I mean, I'm just kind of loving the tune and everything. And then I listened to it, and it's an extremely personal song. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Virginia, your first release.
Yeah. So I wrote Virginia just a few years ago, not that long ago. But it's one that I've been sitting on for a while and has felt like one of the most poignant songs I've ever written, which is why it felt like a great first release. It's about, I tend to abstract it because I think that a lot of people can relate to it. But at its core, that song is about about me and my relationship with my mom. And but overall it's about loving somebody who is an addict and struggles with a lot of both physical vices as well as, mental obstacles, and how difficult it is to be tied to someone like that in a way that's not, love isn't an easily escapable thing. It sticks with us, you can't just turn off the switch. So I wrote this song when I finally was at that point that I could choose myself and love myself more. And so it's kind of an explosion of freedom, in a sense, of when I finally got to that point of this mixture of anger, but also just feeling like it's just time for me to choose myself.
Well, why don't we go ahead and play it? Here's Taylor Hurd's Explosion of Freedom. It's called Virginia on My Cool Radio.
They say monsters dwell under the bed. Most leave the rumor buried, unsaid, but we know they're there. Yes, we're all aware. You can't hide. I found the bottles piled on the floor. I heard you claim that's not you anymore, but they are plain to see, and you cannot fool me, not this time. So enjoy your little trip out in Virginia, 'cause it's the last time that your shit is gonna fly. When you're back, no, I don't wanna see ya. That was your last chance, this is goodbye. Don't come back, took your toll, credits roll. So if our monsters cower on the ground, creep as we sleep and make no sound. Is that why bottles of red sit there under your bed? Nothing left, tucked out of sight where no one sees, where you can worship on your knees, to that numbing feeling where nothing else is real. Must be nice. So enjoy your little trip out in Virginia, 'cause it's the last time that your shit is gonna fly. When you're back, no, I don't wanna see ya. That was your last chance, this is goodbye. Don't come back, took your toll, credits roll. I bet you'll bring us back some baggage as a souvenir, foreign to your habits, tourist of an addict, cushioned by the bottles in your wish you were here, making friends with spirits, but they drain you just as much as you drain them. Pretending to be calm when all the while you're haunted, insultingly hiding your habits, stuffing demons beneath the mattress. I grew up with these
It's My Cool Radio. That was Taylor Hurd and Virginia, her very first single, and she is my guest. That is awesome. Well done.
Thank you so much.
How did that happen? I mean, you don't just one day wake up and say you're going to go into a recording studio and grab some session guys and do a recording. How did everything lead up to that?
So I actually found this really cool opportunity in Boston. There's a studio called Plaid Dog Studios. They look for artists that they want to do more so partnerships with than classic, recording contract. And what they do is if they like what you do and they want to work with you, they actually work directly with you to crowdfund and raise all of the money for the studio fees. So they're like have just as much of a stake in raising money as you do. So it's really cool because they're really with you the entire way, helping you do it. And they even put in like incentives for other people to donate, like matching bids and stuff like that. So it's a really cool group to get in with. And I'd recommend anyone does it because they have like apartments on studio, so they market themselves to anyone who can travel to Boston to go there. And they really hold your hand through the entire process. And then at the end of it, you get to record your song in their studio with them. And they're super professional, really lovely to work with. I worked with a man named Ryan Gallagher. He was my producer. And they also, you get all the rights to their music. They don't hold any of your rights.
That's important. Yeah, that's great.
Yep. So your song is yours at the end of it.
You're singing and corning in the Southern Tier, and you're pretty good and everything. And you go to Berkeley, where everybody's probably at that caliber above you or below you. How did you fit in that group?
Mm-hmm. That's totally a dynamic. You get there at first, and there's exactly that. I was a big fish, and now I'm in a big pond, and I'm still a big fish. And when I first got there, I had never taken a voice lesson. I had never taken a music lesson outside of choir in high school, and doing some musical theater in high school. So even though I had kind of an intuitive musical literacy, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. So I got there and I'm around these people who are, world-renowned jazzers and people who know music like it's math. Like a mathematician knows math, they know music. And it's jarring because they talk about these things in a way that you've never heard it talked about. I often compare it to when people say they move to another country to learn a language, and that's the only time they can pick it up. That's what it felt like going to Berkeley. I was just immersed in this new language of music that I don't think I ever could have become fluent in if I wasn't there in it.
Have you taken voice lessons since you've been there?
Yes, I have. I study voice as my instrument at Berkeley. So there's built-in private instruction and ensembles and stuff like that you learn your craft.
So do you think the voice lessons have changed the way you sing at all?
I think so. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that the voice lessons did for me was I think I lacked some confidence in my voice and I didn't think I was doing it right. And really what they did was, no, these are all of the things that you're doing right. Just lean into it. And there's technicalities like a mixed voice and things like that.
Okay.
That I didn't think I knew how to do. And they're like, no, you're doing it. Just do it more. Just lean into the things that you're doing.
Yeah, that's a good approach for sure. Playing live, you get to play out much?
I do, yeah. I play mostly in the New York area and the Boston area still. I do a lot of shows back home still as much as I can. My dad's here and I love my dad, and was my first big supporter as a musician, so I try to come back here and play shows that he can come see as much as I can.
I was going to say, I want to tell people you're going to be at Atwater Vineyards on August 20th, their singer-songwriter series in Burdett, New York. That's like a little north of Watkins Glen, somewhere in that area. That'll be great.
Watkins, right on Seneca.
When did you start singing? Do you remember when you really started singing and when it kind of clicked that it's what you want to do for your life?
I remember when people started paying attention.
Okay.
I think I always sang. And actually when I was little, my sister and I both would sing music and stuff, and people wanted to listen to my sister. And she would do a lot of Fleetwood Mac covers and
Okay.
that kind of stuff. I've actually been told that I was a little bit pitchy when I was a kid. But all I remember is I would like want to sing, and they're like, "Oh, that's okay." Yeah, so I just remember always loving music and really wanting to do it, but not having much of a platform for it at first. So my dad always talks about this as well. We had this kind of movie room, music room basement at our house, and I would just go down there for hours and just sing and play. And I learned ukulele first, and then I picked up guitar. And that's where I first started writing songs. It just kind of came intuitively to me as soon as I picked up an instrument.
Yep.
And I had always written melodies and little lyrics in my head since I was young. But that's when I really say I started writing, when I picked up an instrument. And
What about the
then
first time you ever played in front of people?
It was my 7th grade talent show. I
Okay.
played the first song I ever wrote. It was called Words, and I won second place. And that was about the same. That was the same day that people kind of started to be like, okay, she might have something worth listening to. And that gave me the confidence to start putting myself out there. I don't know if you've ever met Doc Possum. He does music in the
Oh,
Finger
yeah.
Lakes region.
Yeah.
And he heard me when I was young and started bringing me on to play some songs at his shows. So I was 14 years old, opening up for him at the Radisson and just little shows like that
Oh, sweet.
to build the confidence.
Very cool. Taylor Hurd is our guest. The single is Virginia. What's the plan from here on out?
Yeah, so I actually graduate with my bachelor's in May, so that's coming up soon. And then I just got into, there's a Berklee master's program in New York City at the Power Station. They bought
Oh.
out the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be studying a 1-year master's program in their songwriting and production major. So I'll be recording my own music at the Power Station in New York City for a year.
Not too shabby.
No, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's great. And you're going to continue to promote it while you're taking this master course and all that good stuff and doing shows when you can?
Yep. And this just felt kind of like I felt like there were more skills I wanted to polish off. You
Okay.
know, I did Berklee in 2.5 years rather than 4. I went through it pretty quickly.
No wonder it took us so long to schedule this. You're busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I felt like there was just I wanted to do a little bit more.
Right.
And it's technically a 10-month program. It's like that for a master's, you know. So I thought, you know, I can do this. I can really polish up my production skills because I think it's important to me to be able to communicate what I want to hear and be capable of doing it myself, even if I choose to work with other people. And from there, I'll be in, you know, the biggest city in the US, in New York City, and can kind of do whatever I want while I'm there in regards to my career as well.
Right.
So it just felt like a cool next step.
Good for you. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
We just heard Virginia. Is that kind of indicative of all your music, or is that the exception, or is it kind of along those lines?
I would definitely say it's along the lines. I think Virginia dips into my rock side a little bit, which I definitely have and comes out in my other music. I also have some stuff that's a little bit softer, though. I think the next release, Savior Complex, is going to be an interesting combination between that rockier side that you hear in Virginia and also the softer, a little bit sad girl vibe that I go for as well.
Oh, great.
So there's definitely going to be more stuff with the poignancy of Virginia coming your way.
Well, I'd love to hear more of your rocky side and your happy girl side and all the different sides to Taylor Hurd. Good luck with everything. We can't wait to hear more from you. And again, she's playing August 20th at Atwater Vineyards in Burdett. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Good luck with everything. Thanks for taking time to talk to us. Where's the best place for people to follow you?
I post the most on Instagram at Taylor Hurd Official, Hurd with a U, and also have been making more and more YouTube content under the same title. So
Very cool. Taylor Hurd is our guest from Corning. And now, what other famous rock and roller is from Corning? Do you know?
I don't think
Member
I
of
do.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't think I know.
It's before your time. Rock and roll guitarist Dwayne Eddy. member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He played with Paul McCartney and Jeff Beck and everybody. So you'll be the second most famous Corning musician. There you go.
I think I can live with that.
Hey, it's good. Good company. Taylor, thank you so much. And we've got more music on the way. My Cool Radio.